Hello, this is Richard Williamson here, and I am going over my milestone 3, and here I have my UML. Um, I have extra ones here for in the future. Today we'll just be looking at the Uno deck, Uno hand, and Uno card. Um, so the Uno deck has a shuffle deck function, which creates the deck and shuffles it. It also has a deal card function that you can pass in the number of players, and it returns a list of hands for those players, which is a Uno hand. Draw a card, which will draw the next card, and get last played card will return the last card that was played, which isn't part of this exercise. But it's there. List cards left. It will return a list of the cards that are left. Cards left will return the count of the number of cards left. Shuffle cards played um, will, so the cards that are played, it will have a stack of Uno cards in there, and it so it will shuffle those back into the deck and clear out all but the last card that was played, and card. Oh, that should be the last card was played. Um, Uno card returns the last Uno card that was played, and then we have our Uno hand. Get Uno cards, um, which will return a list of Uno card, and so those are the cards that are in your hand. Uh, we have the function method set Uno cards, which allows you to get the cards that are returned here from deal cards and set it to the Uno hand. You can add a card, a single card. So like if you drew a card, you can add a card. And you can play a card which removes a card from your hand. And then finally there's Uno card, which has get color, returns the color of the card. You can set color, which sets the color of the card. You can get value, uh, which is the value of the card, or you can set the value of the card. You can get special action, so if it's like a skip, reverse, wild, or a draw card, it would return a number, and it would just return 0 if there was no action. Is match, so you supply an Uno card, and you, based on the color or number, you would say whether the card was a match. So now we'll close that and get into our code. So we'll start with our Uno card. Um, so here is our Uno card. It has a private string property and a private int or value property. Sorry, a private color property and a private value property. You can set the color. You can get the color. You can get the value, set the value. This is stub for now. I'll have to add that later to get the special action. So right now it's just returning 0 because we're not actually comparing or doing anything with this yet. And then is match is also here. So if the card color matches this color or this value matches the card value, then return true, otherwise return false. We have our Uno hand, which has a hand property, which is a list of Uno cards. And you can get the Uno cards, which returns this hand. You can set the Uno cards, so it alters this hand. And then you can add a card and remove a card, or play a card. And then we have our Uno deck. And there's a lot here. So we have some private settings. So this is the starting hand. This is the max cards you get in a starting hand. This is another number of cards per color. The max value of a card. The number of wild colors there are, or the number of wilds that there are, and then the maximum number of wild of each type there can be. We have our colors. We have red, blue, green, and yellow. We have our actions, which is not being used yet. Skip, reverse, draw, wild. And then we have draw actions, reverse actions, skip actions, wild actions. These are the card values that denote that the next player should draw cards, or we should reverse the flow of the gameplay, or if we should skip a player, or if the card is wild, then you'll see that 15 is a draw and a wild. And then here, these are the different kinds of actions that are stubbed. And then we have our list of cards, Uno cards, and we have our list of flayed cards. Here we have our method for shuffling the deck. So we just clear out the cards, and then we loop through the max value minus the number of wild. We loop through the colors. We loop through the number of cards per color, and we add uh, the card to our available cards. And then we go through and loop through the number of wild that we have, and then that loops through the number of wild for each one, and it adds sets the color to wild, sets the value to the value, and adds the card, and then finally we shuffle our cards. Here we are dealing our cards to a number of players. We're going to return a list of cards of Uno. We're going to return a Uno hand. So we create the Uno hand. We add the number of Uno hands for the number of players we have. We go ahead and loop through here for the number of times loop through the size of the number of cards the starting hand is. And we go through and add a card and we remove it so that it's not used again. And then we return the list of Uno hands. We have our draw card here, which is not being used in our runner, but Uno card gets the next card, removes it, and returns the card. Get the last played card. If for some reason it's 0, just return a blank card. And then here we have our, this returns the last played card. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that, but oh well. So here we have the number of cards left, or I'm sorry, it returns all the cards that are left. And then this here returns the number of cards left. So when we get down to 1 card left in our game class, we will go ahead and shuffle the played cards, and it'll take the last card and remove it and set it aside, and then it'll shuffle the played cards, and then for each of the played cards, it will add it to our cards, and then we'll oh. Here's a bug. This played cards.clear needs to be here, and then we'll add the last card back on, and then here a card was played, and so it will add it to the played cards pile. All right, so now we are ready to go ahead and do what this milestone 3 is asking for. We are going to take our Uno deck, we're going to shuffle it, we're going to deal it to 4 players, and then output that data. And I'll clear this and hit. So here we, creating our Uno deck, we're shuffling it. We are creating a list of hands, and we're having the deck deal those cards to the players, and it's returning it. And then we're looping through the hands, and we're getting each hand individually. We're getting the cards individually, and then we're printing out the player has the following cards, and which cards they have. Okay, and here we see that player 1 has blue 6, wild 14, red 11, green 9, blue 8, blue 9, red 10, red 9. Our player 2 is, red. And so you can see here that if you run it a couple times, that they are getting different cards. And so, yeah, that is my milestone 3. And I hope I covered everything that was needed. Thank you.